Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 335. I hope you're doing very well, my friend. Now, today is Friday, and I hope you are doing really well. If not, hopefully this podcast will be able to give you a bit of an insight in how you can retrain your mind to be able to react differently. You see, when anything happens in your life, the first decision that you make, the first thing that happens is something which is unconscious. It is where you will automatically make a decision, and most of the time, your mind and body will carry it out. Now, the problem here is if you are in a place of issue or conflict, so if you're experiencing worries, if you're experiencing doubts or anxieties or fears or low self-esteem, any of those things, what do you think your decision is usually around? Or the type of a quality of a decision? More often than not, if you experience those conflicts, you will be making decisions unconsciously on the thing that you don't want to happen, right? So we know anxiety is focusing on all the things you don't want to happen. We know that low self-esteem creates that poor self-image, and if you have a poor self-image, you will be creating a decision based on the self-image you have about yourself or your identity. Now, if you have an identity of being totally worthy and good enough, then the decision you make is going to be very congruent in the best outcome for you. But if your way of seeing yourself or the issue or the conflict is present in your mind at the time when something happens to you, that decision will be based on that. You see, your perception of yourself, the perception of what you're capable of, will dictate and evaluate what you will do in that situation, which is a big issue, right? We do not want that. I remember when I used to experience my blushing and anxiety, and if I were to go into a situation, like for example, a job interview, automatically my body has made a decision at an unconscious level to react in a blushing and unconfident and anxious way. And I had no control over it, right? And you know that. You don't have control, or if you do, you're struggling to regain that control because you're battling, which then creates a very conflicted decision because you don't quite know what you're doing. Your body's trying to pull you one direction into the pain, into the worry, into the fear, while you're trying to grapple back a bit of sanity, a bit of clarity, a bit of calmness and confidence in that situation. So if you are experiencing an issue, whatever the issue is, whether it be a belief system, a feeling, a behavior, or an identity about yourself, and it's not how you want it to be right now, your body will evaluate how you react in an instant based on those evaluations. So wouldn't it be more of value to start training up your mind so actually it gives you the response that you want? You see, we live in a body and a mind which is reactive. That's all it's doing, right? It's reacting to every situation. The reason why you're in the position you are in today, whether it be great, whether it be bad, whether it be indifferent, is based on the decisions you've made to react to the world. So if you've gone in a situation and there was lots of, like a significant emotional event which was negative, like a bit of trauma, your body reacted to that and made a decision around that situation which carried through. And based on the quality decisions that we make, now to let us off the hook a little bit on a conscious level, because I'm not saying that you would ever consciously decide to have pain in your life or to have dread or your issue, unconsciously, for the best of intentions, most probably protective mechanisms, because your unconscious mind is there to protect you, made a decision about yourself, about the world, about how it's going to respond in that situation and future situations. Think about a fear or phobia. They are created because we're under stress, we didn't like it, and our body goes, I do not want to go in that situation. Every time I'm around that thing, that person, that situation, I'm going to produce the fight and flight response, the inappropriate fear to get me out of a situation. So number one is unconscious. Number two is trying to protect you. But number three is misguided. Is a misguided friend trying to protect you, but kind of damaging you at the same time. So we know that on a biological level. We know at an unconscious level that your body is making decisions unconsciously where you are not having the active participation in getting the result that you want. Now, I remember a client of mine, and this was years ago when I was living in Cambridge, and this person was so successful, like really, really crazy successful, being young, being female, and being way ahead of her game in the business. Okay, so she was suffering from imposter syndrome. She thought, back then, obviously back then it was getting a lot better still, but back then she thought that her situation was very male-dominated. So a part of her felt intimidated in those situations. And a big part of her felt like an imposter. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're almost living a lie, as if you're going to be found out to be terrible, to be bad, to be not good enough, and to know nothing. It's like one of those situations, especially for her, is like she had everything, right? She had so much knowledge. She was so successful. But on the inside, every time something happened, every time the boss came to her, every time she was asked to do certain things, every time she went for promotions, which she always got, by the way, she would immediately, unconsciously make a decision for the worst case scenario of being an imposter, as if she's going to be found out, as if she didn't have what it took. Have you ever been there where you just feel as if automatically your system has made a decision which predetermines more negativity in your life? Now, if that is you, just like me, just like my client, just like many of my clients in the past, who automatically create that decision, who automatically and unconsciously evaluate the worst case scenario and make it happen, or if you're battling how your body reacts in a situation, this is for you. You see, this might be a little bit long term, but it can take like 5 minutes a day to get things going. That's why I created ultimately the very, I think is totally unique, no one else out there does this, is my Create Your Day system. But without going into detail there, because that's within Mind Mastery, I want you to consider this. If you practice this, you see your mind and body struggles to be able to know the difference between what is imagined and real. Do you want me to give you a quick test? I don't know if I've done this on the podcast or not. It's really, really cool though. I want you to imagine right now, whether you close your eyes, open your eyes, whatever is best for you, to be able to hallucinate this the most that you can. I want you to imagine in front of you is a lemon, okay? A lemon. Now, as you pick up that lemon, I want you to imagine then cutting it in half. See like the juice kind of spray a little bit, see the beautiful yellow and look so fresh. And as you look at that, the glistening juice on that. See even the seeds or the pips, as we say in England, in that lemon. Now go ahead, as you kind of pick it up, and you may even like in your hand kind of feel the texture, feel the liquid of the juice in your hand. Go ahead and imagine right now putting it into your mouth and putting it onto your tongue, as if you're sucking that lemon. Imagine that. Now, if you're like most people, if you hallucinate in the right way, did you begin to salivate? Did you begin to like kind of almost imagine that right in your mouth, and you're starting to kind of get... See, I'm even doing it now, right? Because I'm imagining it there with you. You're starting to produce a saliva to deal with the lemon. Now, it's really weird, right? Because you hallucinated it. You know it's not there. You hallucinated, but your physical body, your biological body, created the response as if it was true, if it were true even. And we can do this all the time. Where you watch a horror movie, your body reacts to it, or a thriller, or if you ever watch any sports, all those kind of things, you will make physical actions to kind of head the ball, or to hit the ball, or to save the ball. Lots of ball games out there in the world, right? Your body automatically responds physically. Even though you're not that sports person, or even though the movie is not real, or anything like that, even a lemon wasn't real, but your body responded that way. And it does it all the time. So you have to begin to train up your mind, because your mind and body really struggles to imagine what is true and what is not true, from what is reality and what is not reality. Now, if you've got a conflict, you're creating your own reality in a negative way, as if you are projecting all the things you do not want to happen. So how do we begin to make the switch here? How can we begin to retrain your mind? Well, this is what you do. All you have to go ahead and do is this. In your mind, and it will take a bit of practice, I want you to take one scenario where in the past you would have responded in a negative way, and if it were to happen again in the future, you'd probably respond in the same way. So maybe it's seeing your boss and you get anxiety or worries or anything like that. Or if it's about driving, if it's about, any situation in the past where it's happened in the past. And it happens consistently in a specific situation at first. And if it would happen in the future, you would most probably react in the same way, because you've been conditioned that way through the past decisions that we've made. Excuse me. Consider one of those events. Now, of course, you would, if it would happen in the future, the chances are you're imagining the things that you don't want to happen. Now, here's what I want you to go ahead and do differently. I want you to take some time out and go ahead just before the beginning of that situation, like before there was an issue, before there were a reaction in a negative way, but before the situation ever happens. So you're all good, all's fine, no problems at all, just day-to-day stuff, or when everything was just perfect. And then in your mind, I want you to begin to hallucinate wherever you see it, hear it, feel it, or just know it right now, how you would like to begin to react. So everything is perfect. And then in a moment, that situation arises, but this time, you imagine yourself beginning to react in a way that you want. Now, for the best results, I want you to imagine seeing yourself doing this. In other words, you're dissociated in a way like you're watching yourself on a movie screen. So go ahead in your mind just before the situation arises. You feel calm, you feel good, then the situation happens, yet you feel good as well. You carry on and you see yourself act and react in exactly the way you want to act and react. You imagine it to the best of your ability to be able to deal with any situation. So in other words, see yourself being confident, see yourself looking strong, look at your posture, look at your smile on your face, feel good right now. And as you feel good right now, watching that you be perfect in that situation where in the past you may have not have done, but this time you do it on your terms. You own this situation. This is your domain, and you radiate how you want to be, with all the beliefs, with all the thoughts, with all the resources, with all the behaviors. See that you do things perfectly, and then go through that event perfectly all the way to when everything is just fine again. And then I want you to go ahead and repeat that. And repeat it till you can't repeat it anymore. So really, I want you to do this about 21 times for the one situation. The one which really gets annoying. Don't worry, you don't have to do it for every situation. This is just reconditioning, repatterning your brain to be able to do this in any similar situation. So once you get this handled, it will start to map over into any similar or familiar situation where in the past you had acted not very coolly, but this time you act in the way that serves you. So go ahead and just do that. I like to do the whole 21 times thing, 21 days to create a habit. Well, let's just do it 21 times in the mind to be able to create the habit at an unconscious level. That is, once again, why the Create Your Day system works. Although this isn't it, but this is a modified, quick, conscious thing, rather you just doing it unconsciously. But you're training up your mind to do it in a way on your terms. So just imagine, remember this, be seeing yourself as if you're watching a movie screen. Start the scenario off where everything is fine. Then the situation happens, yet you continue to be fine. And then end the situation like you've gone through that event and you are still fine. Do that in your mind in the most profound way that you can, through your thoughts, through your feelings. Like really hallucinate it as often and profoundly as you can, and your body will start to rewire itself on a neurological level, on every aspect of you, unconsciously and consciously. This is you gaining back the control. So I really hope you enjoyed this very, very quick, profound tip. And I think if you do that, everything is going to be perfect for you. Now, here's the thing, by the way, everyone, if you want to be able to get onto tomorrow's coaching call me, where you get to ask me questions, it happens on the first Saturday of every month, and also the third Saturday of every month. If you want to be able to speak to me in person, get coached by me, I've got a special blatant bribe for you, okay? There's a blatant bribe. I want to be able to coach you for the next 2 months. I mean, there's an end goal right there. I mean, like, I want you to be able to have 4 coaching sessions with me, so twice a month. All you got to do is go to josephclough.info/podcast. Now, this will be going down very soon. I got the Q&A tomorrow, but if you're quick, you can get onto this one. If not, you'll get onto the third Saturday month. But you got to be able to do it really by this weekend to qualify for this one, okay? Because I'm going to be taking down this page, or kind of modifying the blatant bribe, because I'm bribing you too much with too many awesome things to be able to get it. So just go to josephclough.info/podcast and go ahead and make things happen. You see, if you're getting this, if you're really understanding this and applying it in your life, you will see the results that you crave and deserve. I know you can do it. So why not go ahead and make that change right now? You see, you're always just one decision away from an unlimited, profound life. So go ahead and make that change, and go ahead to www.josephclough.info/podcast. And I look forward to speaking to you on a future podcast. Hope you enjoyed. If you're enjoying the podcast, go ahead and leave a review on the podcast on iTunes, or if you're listening to this to my free app, where you get all the free podcasts, just go to log on to your app store, type in my name, and then you can leave a review right there. When I get the reviews, and you can change the usernames whatever you want, but if I'm getting the reviews and you're enjoying it, then I'm happy to keep doing these podcasts and helping as much as I possibly can. So have a most wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon. Many thanks, and goodbye.